Guys, welcome back to another episode of the Unstructured Podcast. Today, we're going to talk about mainly just like marketing and what we're doing for ourselves personally in our own ventures and for this channel. So then you know what to expect from anything that we put out. Which segues onto a little mini topic, which says if you're not subscribed onto here,
Amazing.
I think you should. You should. See, the big bosses up at YouTube have been telling us that you need to subscribe. You don't want to anger them, do you? So, anyways,
Come on now.
and whilst we're doing that, check out our Instagrams. But today, something personal to me, and that is the cocktail theme page that I've just opened up. Personally,
Which is called?
Oh, it's yes, good shout. It's called cocktail.capital. At Instagram. Definitely hit me up, give me a follow, leave me a comment saying that you came from this episode. I'd really love to know what the analytics are in terms of follow through from this episode. But I created my own theme page. It's something that I wanted to do for a while. More so create my own space in terms of the cocktail industry. I've always been passionate about it, and for those of you who don't know, who might not have listened to the other podcasts that we've done, I have highlighted that I have like a 10-year plan, which is ridiculous, I know, but it's something that's near and dear to my heart, something that I want to do by the time I'm 30. I'm 20 right now, which is to own my own cocktail brand, whether that be in tools that you use to make cocktails, or different shakers or different cocktails that you can sell out on demand. I'd love to do that. I would also love to have my own cocktail bar one day, and not only just that, I'm really shooting for the stars here and saying that I want my cocktail bar to be one of, if not the best in the world, rated by the 50 best bars in the world. Yeah, it's a high ambition, and
Both have some bloody big goals this year, or just like life.
Not this year. This is a 10-year plan, mate. This isn't not.
I changed it.
Oh yeah,
you
but
got it. I think dreams.
Yeah, man.
Dream big.
Don't you want to get I don't know, a couple of however many followers on your personal brand?
It would be sick.
Yeah,
it would be cool.
Surely, when you're planning out what you say in terms of I want to do this for the next couple of years, whether that be 8 to 10 years, you don't expect yourself to be a few thousand subscribers up or a few thousand followers up. It's more, you gotta aim big, because there's a long time period in there. And if you keep on working,
if you don't get there.
Well, my theory is that if you put your mind towards it and set out a date, you would have created more within that space and that time than you would have anyways if you had no set date or goal. And let's use a smaller time period then. Let's say that you're really motivated, and instead of a New Year's resolution, by the time 6 months goes down in the year, you want to get all your New Year's resolutions done. You want to do it in half the time. Within that 6 months, you're going to work a lot harder to make those goals happen. Sure, not everyone's going to get there, and failing in those goals isn't a loss, it's a win, because you've done it in a shorter period of time. If you manage to do it, you've done it in a shorter period of time. If you don't manage to do it, you would have gone a lot further than you would have if you'd done it with a 12-month span. If you understand what I mean. So, So it's less so about, the ending of 10 years down the line when I'm 30, and more so about, I want to get to this, but I know those goals are big, and I want it to be somewhat realistic. I'm not going to say that I'm going to do all this by the end of the year. That's totally unrealistic. I don't have the capital, nor do I know the experience to even create any of these things. But that's what the next 10 years are for. That's what we all want in this call. For you, Dan, it's for your personal brand, and for you, George, it's your music career. And if you aim for the next 10 years, sure enough, you're going to hit most of the targets. Maybe not all of them, but that's okay, because you've got plenty of time. You're still 30. You're 30 years young, as Gary Vee likes to say.
Yeah. That is young still.
And so, no, but I want to get to that point in 10 years. I want to be one of the youngest cocktail bartenders to achieve those goals in 10 years. And I think I can do that if I make sure that I strategically plan out where the next 10 years are going. I know that if you make a plan for yourself for a long period of time, it's not necessarily going to go right. And that's okay. That's all a part of the journey. It doesn't mean that there's one straight line. Normally, there are little dips and cracks and, trips and hills and mountains that you got to get over, and that's okay. It
That
is
makes
what
you
it
grow
is.
too. Like it's like a
Exactly.
little
And by,
growing
by
period
the
too.
time that you've ended with like 10 years or so, then you would have known that you've earned it. Like, if you've gone through all of those, you'll know that you've earned your place in the industry, regardless of what that is. You will have known that you worked hard. You went through those things, those mental barriers, those times that you grinded until like 4 a.m. Let's say, as a particular person here did last night. Um, you would have known that you did everything that you could to get to that point. It's that you can have no one questioning your integrity when you are so strongly in the belief that you've done everything that you can. And that's
I have a quick question.
go
In say 10 years time, and you're kind of planning it out. This is what you want to happen in a certain amount of time. What happens to your self-esteem and to your motivation to continue? Let's say when you get to that 10-year mark and your goals haven't been achieved yet.
That's okay. It's all right. It's not like at 30 I'm gonna die and that's my legacy. I've still got another, I don't know, 40, 50 years tops to create that. It's more so the more I can get done in this 10 years will allow me to kickstart the rest of the other 40 or 50 to where I want to be. This is my first, like, see it as like a set of stairs, right? You got 10 stairs. If you decide to take one stair at a time, sure, you'll get there in the end, and it might take you a bit longer. But let's say that you were really enthusiastic, and I know we've all done this, but try to jump up 3 or 4 stairs.
Oh,
Let's
it does
just
work
say,
sometimes.
yeah, we've
Yeah,
all
yeah,
done
it
it as
does.
kids. Like,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, and sometimes it hasn't worked out so well, but that's okay. We brush ourselves off, we get up, and we go again, and we try it. So, see it as that metaphor, as the 10 years isn't the end point for me. The 10 years is me trying to get a jump start so then for the next other 4 or 5 steps, I can go strategically from there and set out my goals. And let's say that maybe the stairs get longer because my goals get larger. That's okay. The kickstart, the capital, the whatever it is that I start and continue, I will have momentum on that. And that momentum, if you keep at it and you work hard, will continually grow. And I know, look, it's a lot coming from a guy that doesn't have many ventures going on right now. And that's okay. Anyone here is allowed to doubt me, and that is your God given right. But all I have to do is to prove you wrong, and maybe I'll look back on this in 10 years' time and be like, fucking did it, lads.
We're here, help the cat, motherfucker.
That's the aim, and I've got like little mini subplots within that, so then like I can try and hold myself accountable for those time periods. And I felt like with 2020, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I wasted a lot of it, especially those times within lockdown. I didn't realize how precious those times were. I did spend it in a concoction of Netflix series and YouTube series that I binged and made days blur into one. Like, it wasn't good, and I was eating so much takeaway food, man. Like, the amount that I spent on takeaway food was ridiculous. Like, it's not to give you some sort of scale. Each time that I would order sushi, which for those of you who don't know, I love sushi. It's mwah. But whenever I'd order sushi, my order would never be less than 30 quid. Like, a pop.
Jeez.
A pop, no, a pop.
What, to yourself or share?
Yeah, no. Not fucking, you think I'm sharing? No. To myself. Like, I would have 30 quid's worth of, like, sushi, which is where the main bit of this bulk is coming from. But, yeah, I ended up spending a massive amount, and at the time, I was in limbo in terms of like accommodation because I didn't have to. I had a place set up already, but I didn't have to pay rent on it for the period of time that was locked down. So I had an extra 500 quid coming in that would have gone to my rent that went to me. I should have saved it. I should have invested. What did I do? I fucking spent it on takeaways. So although didn't make me feel good at the time, and it wasn't a good thing to do, understandably. But I feel like in 2021, I know some people might say that it shouldn't take a New Year's for you to realize that, you should do all these things. You should start it whenever you can or should or do. And that's a fair enough argument. Like, I don't have any quarrels with that. But whenever it comes around to the New Year's, I always have this sense of new beginnings, and it's just been instilled in me from years back when I used to do my New Year's resolutions. And it's stayed with me, and now it's helped me to think about what I want to do this year. I don't want to let another year go by because now I got 9 years down. Now I've got
True.
9 years until I hit 30. I've wasted one of them. No, fuck no, I'm not wasting another one. That would just be stupid, and I'd never get to my goals anyway faster like that. So, the thing that I thought I could do, I had a few ideas of coming up with a YouTube channel and trying to grow that, but right now, in the bar that I work at, I can't make any cocktails. I can't do any of that stuff. And I don't have the money to facilitate buying the bottles of spirits and everything else that I'd need to create a cocktail, because it's just I can't afford it. So instead, what I decided to do was to create a cocktail theme page, which would allow me to get even if it's a baby step, a little footing within the cocktail community where I can interact with my followers who are in the same niche as me, know loads more than me, and every day uploading consistently and finding cocktails that both I like and I can recommend to other people will allow me to understand that there's something I can do that I don't have to pay money for, and eventually down the line could very much snowball into something that it's not my main aim, it's really not, and I do it out of a love and a passion for cocktails, genuinely and personally. But when thinking about what I want to do with the channel years down the line, not channel, the Instagram page, years down the line, I can't help but think of all the opportunities that it could bring me, whether that's me reaching out to a follower and having a conversation with them, and then knowing that they're around London and they work in a bar, and maybe sort of networking from there, or whether it's me achieving one of the goals that I have to make my own cocktail utilities and cocktail shakers and promote them on that page, which I've seen other pages do before, and they seem quite successful in it. With that mass following, I can do a lot more things that I couldn't before if I didn't have it. So it also allows me to know the way that Instagram works, what strategies that I can do to further my 10-year plan. Because eventually, I do want to open up an Instagram channel, not Instagram, a YouTube channel, and if I'm able to get kickstarted with an extra 300 followers out of the however thousands I will have at that point, then that's a great kickstart. And if people see that, and if I promote it a few times more often every month, and if I get growth from then, people see who I am, the personality that I perceive, and decide, oh, I really like watching his videos, then it helps me overall, rather than just that one cocktail page that I appreciate cocktails. Obviously, again, I'd love to stress out that I do it. I don't do it for these things. They're just a sub thing that there's something that comes from it. But I do it out of the love and appreciation and the creativity that comes out of cocktails. Like I had one post today where I found this cocktail. I've seen it a couple of times before in a couple of iterations, but it looked like Baby Yoda.
That's sick.
Yeah,
Oh, I want to see this actually.
yeah.
Get
And
something.
it just looked pretty cool, and I thought I credit the people who make the actual cocktails. It's not me making them.
That's
I give
so cool.
yeah.
What the fuck?
I'll try and put a picture on here,
Yeah.
now.
You have to, yeah, definitely. That's sick.
But no, I try to credit people. I try to make sure that if they like the cocktail, they get value out of it by knowing how to make it. I try to interact with my followers, like comments. Every comment I try to get back to. Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. And
I want to touch on something that you spoke about briefly just before the cocktail page itself. We'll come back onto that. You mentioned the first lockdown that we had in March and the fact that you kind of didn't utilize the time that you had.
Mm.
And I remember me and George were on a phone call the other day, and we were talking about having all of this free time at the moment, and like,
Yeah.
what's the best way to use all of this free time?
Mm.
So I suppose the question I'm going to ask is, someone listening who may be kind of stuck in that rut of pick up Netflix, not do anything productive the whole day, is continuously that cycle. What piece of advice would you give them to start getting on track with their
Okay.
goals?
First of all, I'd ask them to make sure that they set out what their goals are, regardless of the time period, regardless of what it is. Set out what their goals are, just generally. You can put a time period towards it if you'd like to. You can make those adjustments as you please. And then from there, just have them somewhere. Somewhere that you look every day, or somewhere that at least you interact with quite often. For me, it would be my New Year's resolutions that are in my pocket, and the 10-year goal that's in my notes that I have to go to every day. So I constantly have that reminder each and every day that, okay, like anytime I try to page for something, I'll try and like take it out, read it for once. Just, you might have heard it before, but like affirming it to yourself, affirmations, making sure that you wrote these down. It's you that's making a commitment to yourself. You can't let this person be failed. You can't fail yourself, basically. And it's going to be hard, yes, but doing nothing is going to be equally as hard when you realize that you've gone 10 years down the line and you've done nothing. That's the first thing I'd ask them to do. The second thing would be, I know it's been said time and time again, but try and get into somewhat of a routine. Or at least better habits, you know? For me, what I've just started doing recently, and I think it works really well, and I would implore anyone else to do it. I heard it on another podcast, funny enough, but they said that to make tomorrow the best day, you have to start planning the night before. So every night before I go to bed, I make a plan for myself. I make maybe 10, 12 things that I want to do for the next day.
Something I do as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I make sure that as I go through as I go through it, I make sure, okay, make sure that it's realistic. Make sure, not only just realistic, but make sure that you're pushing yourself as well. Sure, if you start it just like at day one, ease into it a bit, because if you just start doing everything and then start realizing that you haven't done half the things on your list, it's going to demotivate you. Sometimes it might be just making your bed in the morning, having a shower, doing your groceries, doing your laundry. It doesn't matter what it is, just the things that you need to get done. Also, one thing that helps is have the goals that you wrote down in mind for the day. So then that next day you can get closer towards that eventual goal that you have. And every day, taking it day by day, you take those things and you keep on running with them. Right? You build this resilience. You build a constant sort of routine. Now my routine isn't like time slotted. I can't do that. I'm just trying to do as much as I can in a day. And also hold yourself accountable. Like, if I didn't do certain things in the day, I will put a massive cross beside them. So then I can look back and be like, okay, I didn't do those things that day, but I will do them tomorrow. Make sure that you have little and small things on that to-do list. Because another thing that I've heard go around, which I think is very true, is the small wins matter the most. Whether it's a win of getting up and having a glass of water, or making your beds, or doing the dishes, it doesn't matter. Just those small wins eventually lead to bigger wins. You'll be more motivated, as well as cross them off as the day goes by. If you get, let's say that you make a 10 lists, 10 things on the list. Sorry, it's drink some water.
Wow,
Let's-
Aaron, that's what I'm going to say for now. Like, while you're doing this, wow. Like, this is crazy. Sorry.
So while you're making out this, like, let's say you do 10 things, right? Set out 10 things that you want to do for the day. Then, whilst you're going through your day, look through them. Make sure that you know what you need to do. Remind yourself. And then as you go through your day and you do your daily tasks, whether that's, the examples that I made before, cross them off. Put that like the little tick emoji beside them. It's great. It motivates personally me to make sure that I do those things. And once I've done all those things, I'm more motivated to do the other 5 things that I need to do. And by the time the day is finished, maybe I haven't gotten through all of them, and that's okay. That shouldn't demotivate you. It should motivate you, because let's say you got like 7 things done out of the 10 things that you needed to do. It's still 7 things that you don't have to do anymore. 7 things that you've been productive for the day, and you can go to the next day creating the next plan, knowing that, okay, I have less on this plan than I did the day before. This will vary, obviously, depending on what you have to do, the obligations that you have. But I find it really motivating, and that's how I would answer that question of how you could get started just today. Yeah, that's my answer. Sorry, I've been talking
I've
for a
got a
fucking while.
question for that then. Do you personally, Imran, do that every day, or do you set yourself out like
I've
a
I've been
weekly thing?
No, I've been doing it for the past 3 days.
Oh,
It's been
okay.
very recent, fully aware, but I made excuses up in my head of, oh, you know what? I'll get a diary, and when I get a diary, then I'll write it all down and I'll make sure I do it. Fucking, what are you doing? Lying to yourself? No, you have.
You're not wrong though.
You have notes
it's a
in
big
your
thing in society.
Yeah, you have notes on each one of your smartphones, and if you're not fucking doing it, then you're just not holding yourself accountable. And I made the excuse, and I realized, and I was like, yeah, fucking, god damn it, man. Just started typing in it. But yeah, that's what I did every day and doing every day, and I've tried to implement smaller things in there, smaller things that I know will have a greater impact in my life. So for the past 3 days now, I've tried to meditate like for 30 minutes before I go to sleep. I have a lot of trouble sleeping, and if I don't get a good night's sleep, then the next day I'm going to be sluggish. And I felt that yesterday. I got 6 out of the 10 things that I need to do done, and I felt sluggish for the whole day. I fell into the trap of going back into bed because it looks so comfy in my apartment's so fucking cold. Like we all look at it. We all look at our beds and be like, look, we bargain with ourselves, like try and negotiate as if we're trying to, like, you know what? It's been a real hard day. I think, what if I just spend like 10 minutes on Instagram? It'll be fine.
It's only
It'll
10
be
minutes.
fine. And
4 hours later, oh,
genuinely, yeah, like hours go by, you realize you've done nothing, and then you start getting even more demotivated. And something that I would say towards that is, like, you gotta make sure that just doesn't happen. I know it's so tempting. Like, if you're listening to this whilst you're doing your chores and this is resonating with you, which I hope it does, don't look at your bed. Whatever you do, just
Don't look at your bed, just keep going forward.
Sod the other 2 for a minute. Look at me. Just get the things that you need to get done for the day. I promise you'll feel so much better afterwards. But you can't look at that. Let alone don't go into it. Okay, all right, great. Continue on with your day. Anyways, yeah.
Fuck, I'm about to do my chores in a bit. Jesus Christ.
But yeah, no, it's. I think what I want to try and do, and something that I've had a problem with in the past, is having that dedication towards something. Now, I always told myself when I was younger, like, I'd have this thing in my head of, I don't know what my passion would be, but what I knew is when I found my passion, I'd go headfirst to it. And personally, I knew what my passion was, like, last year, or like maybe at the end of 2019. I kind of got the flow of it. I was like, all right, this is something that I did, and I didn't stick towards that. And look, I took a massive L with that. I didn't stick say the thing that I was going to do. But look, say that you're in that position now. You've still got the 9 years ahead of you to make sure that you don't ever do that again. You may have wasted a bit of time, but look, you can start today. It will be okay because I mean you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right?
Don't take. Love that.
Yeah.
Which is true.
Yeah, man.
You don't go for something, you won't know that
No.
if you could do it or not.
Exactly, and I mean,
Facts.
this podcast in and of itself has really like motivated me. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Oh well, you guys know I'm quite competitive, right? Like this is.
You?
I-
Don't be silly.
But man, like I'm not gonna lie to you, I got quite jealous. Not jealous, envious more so than jealous, because jealous incites hate. Envious of okay, Dan's going and doing his thing. George is going and doing his thing. They're starting to get the ball rolling, right? And like getting that thing going. And I was left there was like, okay, I've still got the podcast, and I love the podcast dearly, but I need to have something of myself. I can't just sit around here doing nothing. I need to have a kick up my own ass, look at myself in the mirror, and try and get something done. That's when I started
I think
thinking.
That's
why it's so important to have these people around you who are like this, rather
Exactly.
than people who don't push you and keep you in the same position, because you're not going to get anywhere that way.
Exactly.
And it's good that you took it on yourself and you're like, right, George and Dan are doing their thing. I've got to start something now. And to be fair, that's actually kind of made me quite happy that it's.
Oh yeah, no,
saying
you
that,
guys have inspired me. It's
which is sick. But then we've all of us three in the call have all sort of inspired each other anyway from doing the podcast.
yeah, of
So if
course.
anything, this is a massive like circle of just winning. Like, and it's sick that you brought, mate. When I saw that Instagram and you finally fucking made it, I was like, finally, mate. Is that sick?
Yeah,
And look
no.
at you now, you're flying on it. I think you've done so well with this mentality and like how you've switched it up, and now you're A game. Like you and Dan, it's sick to watch, man. I feel like I'm actually an audience here, just watching my two boys just fucking go for it. Like it's sick.
Yeah.
One of the quotes that I love to replay in my head all the time is that talent will always beat hard work. Hard work will beat talent when talent doesn't put the hard work in.
Damn,
That's true. Yeah, man.
If you want something, you've got to go and get it.
amen.
You've got to go and chase your dreams, and no one is going to make you do those for you. No one can get you to a certain position. It's got to be on the individual to go, I want this in my life. There are certain things I need to do in order to get that. I think we're all starting to come around to that mentality.
Yeah.
It's infectious.
There was something
Go on.
I'm going to say that it's all about in life choosing what problems you want in your life. So if you want a certain job or a certain career path, there are problems that are going to come along with that.
Yeah.
If you want to continue just doing a standard job or working for someone else, there are problems going to come with that as well. Everyone is going to have problems in their life. It's about choosing the problems that you want to have in your life and then sticking with that. You'll want these problems, which are editing videos, creating music, making cocktails, things like that. Those are the problems we want in our life.
Yeah.
We're going out and choosing them.
Of course. I mean, I'd rather worry about like how I'm gonna create my own cocktail brand than worry about the next promotion I have from a company that I don't give a shit about, right?
Exactly.
It's and having those people around you that like have that same mentality, is just kind of infectious. Like you can see it. Dan did it. George started doing it. Now I've started doing it. It goes like around and around. And there's been times where I'm sure we've all doubted ourselves within this call. Like that's gonna be a factor within life and within achieving those goals. And it's good to have those people around you to fall back on. You know, those people that if you say to them, I'm going to use an example from you down here from like the other week when you had a recording on your own podcast. It's called No Regrets, by the way. If you want to check it out, it will be in the description.
Link in description.
But after you stopped recording on one of your episodes, you weren't the most confident on it, and I mean, that's you went into the chat and you're like, just finished an episode, not really sure about it. Hope it's all right, and you gave us your thoughts. And like, I'm sure me and George, we just try to inspire you to get back onto the grind, because obviously those things can be demotivating, and it's okay. Mishaps like that happen, but if you change your mindset of the glass is half empty to the glass is half full, look, the podcast didn't go. Sure, it might not have gone that well, but it's one of your first podcasts that you've recorded with another person. Take it realistically. You're not going to be perfect right now, but you're not supposed to be, and you have years to be perfect or to aspire to be perfect. It's never about, the destination. It's about the journey that you take within that. And I'm sure, like, one of your personal goals that I know, Dan, is to eventually one day have a one-on-one chat or have like a podcast with the infamous Gary Vaynerchuk. So
It's not far off in the works.
that's
hopefully.
hey, keep that to yourself. Keep that to yourself.
It's fucking weird to say that shit.
But
It's crazy, isn't it?
I know, right? But it's about knowing that you'll go through downfalls, but trying to make them into a winning situation rather than a losing one. So you might have not done the best on that podcast, but you'll do the best next podcast, or you still aspire to, or it's still just a learning curve to you. That's my opinion on
that. After you guys said that, all of that positive stuff to me, I kind of sat back and I was like, okay, right, like this isn't the end of the world that I've messed up on one thing, because it's not a bad thing. Something that I'm doing now every Friday on all of my socials is putting up failing Fridays. So anytime I've had a kind of maybe a mishap in an interview or in a podcast, or when I'm recording and I'm just sitting there not saying anything, I'm going to put these things up online to show people that if you fail at something, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Because the only way you learn from stuff is by failing at it to begin with. Because then you know what you can do next to improve.
Yeah.
Get better.
Exactly.
So, the funny thing was as well is, day after I recorded that episode, editing it, and it was absolutely fine. There was nothing wrong with it. I just stressed myself out that much that night. I went, it's all shit, it's all bad. In reality, it was fine. Just stumbled on a couple words.
Yeah, it's fine.
Which happens, man.
Exactly. But
I
yeah,
think there's two types of people with that situation as well. So say like for your case, obviously your podcast didn't go well. There's two types of Dan. There's one where it's like, well, fuck that. I'm binning it off straight away. I'm not recording this week. I'm binning this week off. Fuck it. It don't matter. It's my podcast, whatever. And then there's the actual Dan, which we all know and love, who went, nah, mate. I'm sorting my shit out. I'm redoing it, and I'm fucking whacking that bitch up again. I'm retrying.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that Dan died like a good couple of months ago. The first
dead,
Dan.
Yeah,
he died in the first lockdown.
Unmotivated Dan is gone, man.
Yeah, man.
Tell you what, that the reason I'm in kind of the way I am now, because I've got nothing to stress about in my life.
That's true.
I feel so open and honest with everyone now that literally, no matter what happens, I'm going to be like, cool, let's try and make a positive change out of a bad situation.
Yeah,
And
I think that's
one of the things.
Go on.
Yeah, one of the things I learned was that you say something out loud, it's 10 times more powerful than if you just think it in your head.
That's
I
true.
also learned if you say something negative out loud, saying something negative compared to something positive is 4 to 7 times more powerful. If you say something negative out loud, it's 40 to 70 times more powerful, more likely to happen. So don't say anything negative out loud. Just allow yourself to think like life is so shit, everything's against me, because it happens to everyone.
There's a saying that comes very well hand in hand with that, is that if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all, right? That can also be applied to ourselves. And, obviously apply that to others. Please don't be a dick, but...
I've found that I've seen the most progress in myself, in my content in it, and everything I'm doing at the moment is because I'm in this place of zen. This is the only way I can really call it.
Zen.
I'm so kind of detached from everything in a way that I feel like I can just create, go, progress, because I'm so in a place where I'm happy with myself and thinking, right, things good. Then when there's so much scientific research that goes to show when your brain is in a good space, things come to you. Progress comes when you're happy and when you're in a place of joy, rather than joy coming from you progressing and you doing well in things. Whether you a bonus in a job, it might make you feel good at a certain point. You may get a little bit of joy. Your self-esteem isn't going to change that much because you still might hate the job. It might be something you absolutely hate, but you get a little bit of joy from the bonus. Whereas I'm in a place where I'm so happy and so zen now that I can just do all of these things without caring, without feeling like I'm, against myself or against other people. I know I feel so good in myself. I think everyone needs to try and get to that space where you can go, right, no matter what I do today, it's going to be okay.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you boys want to do with our channels, like our Instagram or Twitters? What are your plans for social media content going forward, do you think?
What in terms just the channel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unstructured together.
Yeah. George, you want to go first?
So the plan with the social medias is we're all trying to get as active as we can, on it. So we're posting on all socials. So we've got TikTok, we've got LinkedIn, we've got Instagram, obviously our YouTube channel. We've also got Facebook and Twitter.
Oh yeah,
which
shit. That's
Facebook's
6.
sort of on a back burner, but the main we got top 5. We've got like main 5 platforms that we're trying to post on, more of them.
Yeah.
The goals with that is just like I said, just get more active on it, because everybody and anybody are on social media, and the best way to get eyes and attraction is social media. And it's just facts that you can see all the statistics on like TikTok, for example. TikTok is crazy right now. Like the other day I put up a TikTok, and in the first I'm gonna tell the story on this TikTok too. It's the shittest TikTok I've ever made, right?
No, I thought it was
shit. It took me 5 minutes, and it got 1.3k views in a space of like 2 hours. It's crazy. So I think like with all of our mentalities at the moment in go mode, we all just want to flood content out. And obviously people are going to say like, oh, quality over quantity. That's true. It's true. Yeah. I agree with it. But then
I personally don't agree with that saying at all.
Really? Because I do. I get it. But that's
cannot stand that saying.
For some, I think for people at our level, quantity over quality, definitely. But when you get up to like, we're saying that even though Gary V does the opposite, doesn't he? Really, he does quantity over quality, but it's still quality too. Yeah. So I think
everyone wants to be perfect. Everyone values like perfection.
Yeah.
So they go for quality because they think the better it looks, the better it will do. But if you're comparing one post which is really good quality to 25 posts which still bring value to the listener or to the person who's viewing the picture or the video, whatever it is, if it still brings value and you've got 25 bits out compared to one just which looks really good and is produced really good, then the 25 will always win because it's more chance that more people will be able to see it. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, volume is so important. Like, it is so important to get like as much as you can out there. But I also do agree with quality. So this is where we're a bit.
so if we just break down the plan, I think it's mainly we're going to be like uploading every day, at least like 2 or 3 times a day, on every platform. So we're going to try and do Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. The ones that George already mentioned. And I think the next plan of action is sort of having a strategy behind sort of at least some of the platforms. Personally, with my own Instagram page, I've just watched loads of videos on it because I mean knowledge and like trying to further my efforts in terms of getting to the place I want to be. But yeah, just figuring out the strategies towards getting us recognized by as many people as possible, whether that's, hashtags, or the amount of things that we put in the video, or the video length, or the quality of the photo, or sort of a call to action, as they call it, sort of like if you see it on the explore page, which is the main aim to get new viewers onto it, then you just sort of like have a little follow the Unstructured podcast, so then they know where to go to find more content like this. But yeah, not having strategies for that, and basically like tackling the new year, making sure that, as I said before on this podcast, making sure that day by day we set it out, so then eventually, for us at least, for the channel goals, at the end of the year we can look back on all the goals that we've already pre-made and sort of eventually tick them off. I mean, we've had already a couple of them TikTok, which is amazing, and it always fills me with like a little bit of joy, because I've got the piece of paper that originally, that we base it off, but I always send a video into the boys, just like a little video, just like tick. But yeah, no, it's setting out the day by day plan, making sure that things are done daily, so then eventually at the end of the year you can look back and be like, okay, we did all of these things, and now we're here. Where do we go from here? And then continue that process until we've reached our potential, which I hope we never do. I hope we're constantly climbing and striving towards getting to the place where we want to be, without actually getting there. Because once you've gotten there, you've gone on the top of the hill. There's no other climax that you can get to.
It depends how you think about it, though.
I want to see it as that being a way that we constantly stay motivated. Say that we've gotten, fingers crossed, like let's say that a couple of years down the line we've gained like a 10,000 subscriber following, right? I don't want us to then go like, oh, we've reached our peak. No, we can definitely strive to 100,000. 100,000, you can strive to 500, and then to 1 million. Like, I don't want us to.
What happens if we never get to 10,000?
Then we will constantly
still going to be doing this.
Yes, because we will constantly be striving towards getting there. It's not about the destination. It's the journey. That sounds like a crazy man.
Enjoying the process.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's less about the number, more about making sure that consistency is there, making sure that each one of us holds each other accountable for not only this channel but our own channels and our own ventures, regardless of what that might be. So yeah, no, I think we want to get there, and we're going to, and day by day we take it, so then we upload something and we get new eyes, even if it's only a couple, and if those people sell a couple, but like it's setting out your day to eventually achieve that end goal that hopefully you never get to. It's a weird way of phrasing it, but you get the basic premise. Yeah.
I also think too, which I just thought about, which I have been thinking about for the last couple of days, is because 2020, obviously going back to the whole daily uploading and just go mode. I think because personally, anyway, the look of 2020 and what happened in 2020 makes you hit this brick wall and go yo, that is a very unsuspected situation that's happened. So from 2021, I am not going to let myself sit in just neutral and not go for it, and because especially for me, I didn't go for it in 2020 at all. I was the same with you, and obviously it's going back a bit now. I understand that. I'm just trying to finish it up, but I was in neutral mode. I wasn't even thinking about stuff. Of course, I was sorting out my music. I was writing blah blah. But in 2021, I'm now in go mode, and I am not gonna waste time ever again. Like you said, we've got 9 years left now. We've got 9 years left until we're 30, bro.
Exactly.
You think me and Imran are going to waste a year?
Exactly.
So yeah, I just wanted to add that because I wanted to say that at some point, but I completely forgot. But yeah, no more wasting time. No way.
No more looking to the sky. Sorry. I had to plug George's song in there.
George, when can we realistically hear another song from you? Anyway?
Soon.
Actually, not soon, because I've got plans for No More Looking to the Sky. Lockdown is sort of, fucking it up for me. Thanks, lockdown.
What do you mean you got plans?
I got plans that you.
If you're listening, if you're
Right.
listening
for
on,
anyone, for anyone listening,
if you're listening on
You just have to
Spotify,
come look at the video.
but
Realistically, I mean, maybe soon. I'm trying to start to work with certain people and different people, try to branch out. So potentially soon.
just want to create context. Like, if no one knows that it's George's song is called "No More Looking to the Sky." Yeah, just thought I'd
Nice.
create that context, just in
Nice.
case we get some new listeners.
Out now, all platforms, stream.
Yeah, yeah. I love the little sprinkle of just like plugs that we've got. We plugged each of each other.
We're getting good at it, though. We never used to plug shit, bro, but we're good now. We've got it nailed. Proper YouTube channel now.
Yeah, man. So,
But yeah, soon.
I think
Eventually.
with that, like, I reckon we've said everything that we need to say. I think that's a genuinely good like episode all in all. And if you also share that opinion, and if you like this episode, any bit of it has been useful to you, leave a comment if you're on YouTube. Let us know if you're on Instagram. Download the video if download the audio if you're on Spotify. Maybe you want to listen to it later. Make sure that it motivates you for the next time that you go through that slump. And to all those who are watching on other platforms, welcome if you're new. Thanks for listening, by the way. And that's it from us at the Unstructured Podcast. We will see you on all platforms some other time.
Soon.
Very soon. All right. In a bit. Bye.